pretty up my face.
Oh, it's still pretty.
And then, also, you already said that. Never mind. Alrighty, now, can everyone on my right side hear me?
Yeah.
Apparently not. Can everyone on my right side hear me?
Yeah.
I can't hear on my right side now.
Alright, that was a little bit better, but let's see if the people on my left side can hear me.
That was weak.
Alright, next one.
That was
Call now. We're gonna have an audience for you.
With the star thing.
And sorry, you guys in the middle are kind of screwed. You're kind of crosshairs.
Alright, now it's all up to my midsection. Can everyone up to you hear me? Wow, they put both you guys to shame.
They had practice.
They were able to warm up.
Give me the time.
Oh, damn.
Everybody.
Oh, 904. Why 905? Don't start with me, smart ass. Also a reminder, I forgot to mention this last year when I did this at AwesomeCon. Also, AwesomeCon, 20 people. Just pointing that out. Now,
Damn.
how many children do I have in the audience? All right. So we got a fair amount of kids here. This is not an 18+ panel. It is simply me telling stories for the entertainment purposes. So I ask that if I call on you in the audience to fill in a blank, you do not use anything inappropriate. Do I have my right side understanding?
Yeah.
Do I have my left side understanding? Okay, they're going to the runner-up. Do I have my center side understanding? Yeah! Okay, you know what? Right side, forget you. This
Damn.
I'm kidding. All right, so who is ready to hear a story? All right, Google, play. You, damn it.
That's
it. Now, I was supposed to have 3 stories written out. Unfortunately, a headache put me out of commission for a few days. Sorry, I shot him. Don't blame him. It's his problem. So, fortunately, I got 2 stories out. We got the cowboy and the princess. Which would you like to hear first?
Cowboy.
Cowboy.
Alrighty.
Let's go Shrek.
Let me hear you scream for the cowboy. I don't think the princess can do that. Let me hear you scream for the princess. I may have a healing factor, but I still have hearing. All right. Last time. Right side ready?
They got all the kids over there.
Yeah, that's cheating.
Center ready? Let's read a book.
What?
Let's read a laptop. Read a MacBook. No.
Split it in half. Oh, wait.
All right. Starting with the princess, simply because I don't think I could hear the cowboy at this point.
Ouch.
Thank you. Here's the rule. I need you.
Mortal Kombat.
Just because if it starts to run left.
Okay, Rick James.
All right.
Oh, wait. I totally screwed that one up.
Just for you, try to pick people equally. Don't just stick to one side. Right? Try to stick to my All right, everyone ready? Here we go. Once upon a time, there was a beautiful princess named... I need hands for suggestions. That's no fixable. Yes. What was that?
Bubblegum.
Bubblegum? Oh, Princess Bubblegum. She lived in the kingdom of... Hands, people. When I stop, that means hands. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Wait for it. Oh, Smallville. Okay. In the kingdom of Smallville. I'm sorry, we're reading the same book here. With her father, King.
New York.
Pass it up the line here. Houses? Alsa Deuce. Sounded a lot like Alsa Deuce. The King Alsa Deuce and Mother Queen. Okay, I'm gonna take this one just because I've seen his hand go up like a fucking rock. Spider-Man, thanks for making me a bad person in front of you.
Listen, you've always been a bad
What's
person.
the Queen's name?
Zelda.
Stop fighting it. We can't pick something of our own imagination. Have some originality.
Come on.
Queen Zelda. She was a kind princess and treated all people with emotions of, I need two.
Discomfort and discord.
Riddler and... Yes, you?
Hatred.
Hatred and... Conservation. I didn't hear that. She was a kind princess who treated all of her people with the emotions of hatred and constipation. This is going to be a horrible story, I just know. And the people loved her for it. She loved to see all the smiling faces of her friends and families throughout the kingdom. Everyone had lived happily and cheerful lives. But in the...
Bumhole.
midpoint? In the sort of midpoint outside of the kingdom lived an old wicked witch named... Oh, yes,
The blind person.
pass it up.
Drizzy.
Dressing. These people know what that is. Who lived in a large tower. The kingdom wanted nothing to do with her, for she had used magic of... I got to shut his head up.
Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
What? Potatoes. I used the magic of potatoes to cast curses on the people, turning them into
Carrots.
Got his hand out.
Spidey. Give me another.
Giraffes.
Turning them. Power of potatoes, turning them into giraffes. I can smell a Nobel Peace Prize already. The kingdom had nothing to do with the magic of turning them into giraffes and making them what are Spider-Man, tell a shitty story. Honestly, I think I was half annoyed when I wrote this story. Turning them into giraffes and making them whatever she pleased. The old witch lived on her own, being bothered and never being seen. And never being bothered, never being seen, and never being
Constipated.
Apparently that's a thing that happens outside the kingdom. Never being constipated. God, no wonder she's living a happy life.
It's the water.
It better not be the water. It has some of it.
It's the potatoes.
Anyone who attempted to find the witch would disappear and never be seen again. It is said that the blank surrounding her yes. Don't you do it! That the bear surrounding her was under her control and would swallow up any innocent soul that traveled in. Bears that eat souls. It sounds like we're writing an anime.
It all makes sense.
I would watch that.
Because of
anime.
this, people in the kingdom feared her. Honestly, I wouldn't fear a witch like that. I'd welcome her into my home.
Well, you kind of want to die.
One day, Blank had a real what was the witch's name again? Dreszy had made a realization. She was aging beyond her control, and soon, if the people of the kingdom knew, would find out she was not as powerful as she once was, they would hunt her and blank her. Spider-Man, give other people a chance, would you?
Everybody gets one Spider-Man.
I've had 2 so far.
The people of the kingdom would find her and rapidly sniff. She needed to come up with a plan to keep her youth and keep her youth and the fear of the kingdom. Sorry, I'm still getting over that headache. Thank you, by the way. I appreciate it. She planned when she had remembered that once she had created a blank that would steal the blank of others.
That's gonna go bad fast.
Give me somebody.
Bunghole.
Yeah, right here.
Okay.
What was it?
First one, Candy, and
Wait. What was it again?
came up with a blank to steal the blank of others.
Oh. Candy to steal.
Dragon!
No.
Don't listen to him.
Steal the one of others.
Virginity.
Yes.
Wow.
Candy to steal a firstborn child?
Yes!
Honestly, I don't know why I bothered. All right. Once she had created Candy to steal the firstborn. That would make... I can't do this.
You can do it!
When she had remembered she had created Candy to steal the firstborn child of others, making her youthful again. But it would only work on people with blank.
Goats.
Your mama. It would only work with people who had your mama.
Oh my god.
I'm sweating, but not because it's hot. Okay.
I would always get spicy.
Worried that she may not get another chance to use it, she used her blank and her blank to create Candy. Riddler. Nauseous gas and
Constipation.
yes, the woman having the panic attack.
She's got nothing.
Then you. Oh, no, you.
Goldfish.
The nauseous gas and goldfish to create Candy.
Well, damn.
She would then go to the kingdom under the disguise of hairs. Whose hairs? Is she disguising herself as a toupee? What kind of scheme is that? Once she had made all she needed, threw on her outfit of hair, grabbed her candy, which would, oh no, this is the second one. Grab her what, which would grant her teleportation back to her tower. Her
Crow.
freckles that would transport her back to the tower. Man, I'm really liking where this is going. Alrighty. Once inside, she began to search for people believing to have, this is the What did we say that? people
Firstborn
had?
child?
Firstborn
Your
child.
mom, right?
Your
Well,
mama.
this is gonna be an awkward story. Just wait till it keeps rolling. Once, stupid mask. And I'm trying. Once inside, she would have to began believing to have your mama, so that she may steal their youth for her own. She was careful as to who she gave the candy to, as not to waste any. One by one, she handed it out to people who she thought to have your mama, but none of them fell victim to her spell. She was down to her last bit when she saw the princess's name was Bubblegum, the princess. Taking her last chance, she offered the last piece of candy to the princess. First off, if you're a princess, never take candy from a stranger. If you're anybody, never take candy from a stranger.
Unless it's free.
Especially if it's free.
Wait, she
Okay,
thought that the
Halloween's
princess had your
Oh,
mom?
you know what?
Yes.
It must have been Halloween. That explains everything.
Yeah.
disguised his hair.
That's a good spray.
Yeah,
Take
okay,
candy
first
from.
off, never accept candy from hair. That's already bad news.
Especially if you have your mama.
You're on because
Okay.
you're thinking that you're getting candy from hair.
Especially if
Though
you have your
the
mom.
princess kindly refused, she insisted. Finally, the princess accepted the gift. She took it, took a single bite out of it. Bam! The princess had fallen to the spell. Little did the witch know the Princess Bubblegum had the most yo mama in all the kingdom. Man, Queen Zelda must have been something. People in the streets had seen what the witch done. People began to scream and cry out. The royal
Princess.
Horse.
Horse.
royal
Oh, this guy.
Carriage.
Well, I got one. We got to go.
No, we got one. The royal butt munch began to surround the witch and the princess. You're going nowhere, the butt munch cried. The witch had pulled out her freckles, raised them high above her head, slammed them into the ground. A magic
Portal.
haggis. Don't you pick the children. Don't ruin the story. And remember, you gotta shuffle, man. Shuffle. A magical pancake had appeared around the two, and soon they were gone.
Well, okay.
It's pretty big if it's a pancake. The king and queen were blank at the news of their dear daughter's disappearance. What? You want to relay that back to me?
You don't want
I said horny.
Point?
No.
Horny.
Horny.
Horny, Sir Deadpool.
I was really hoping it was something else. That's why I didn't
Yes,
say
that's why I said you want something else.
You remember this is an 18 plus, right?
Yes.
You have to keep it. You have to keep
Give me
it
another
down
one.
that
All right.
Bloody diarrhea.
that, like bad character.
Corny.
I don't want to deal with this anymore.
Not 18 plus.
You can use Randy. It counts.
Corny.
It's another.
What was that?
Very
Stop
happy.
using big words.
Okay, no, that makes sense. The king and queen were disgruntled at the news of their dear daughter's disappearance. The king then made a proclamation. Whosoever finds the witch, defeats her, and returns the princess to the kingdom shall ask for her hand in marriage. The three men stepped forward. The first one was the kingdom's fluffer, who stood brave, strong, and true. The second one was the kingdom's
No, it's people.
The second one was the kingdom's laxative.
because they're all constipated.
No. Wait till you hear how he's described. Smart, cunning, and true. And the third was named
Bart.
Grandpa Gilbert, the village idiot. The king was satisfied with this selection and sent them on the mission. As the three approached the... What did we say this thing was surrounding the woods?
Sword and
Bears.
Bears. As the three approached the bears, the... What was the first one? Just to make sure I'm... The fluffer. No, the fluffer. The fluffer questioned his decision, but went in anyway. The laxative questioned his decision, but went in anyway. But Grandpa
Gilbert.
had no doubts in his mind, and the decision was made. Through the bears, the three men encountered blank, blank, and blank.
Alright, so yeah, let's do one from each side.
Me? Bloody diarrhea.
I'm going to use that one just because of this. Okay,
What the hell?
okay, bloody diarrhea, meth, and cupcakes. That was a good one. I might keep that. All before reaching the witch's tower. The witch knew these men were on their way to save the princess and had to stop them by any means necessary. Using her spells, she turned herself into a fierce, gigantic, monstrous...
Worm. Worm.
Surprisingly, I saw that coming. Actually, I'd seen it coming the whole story. I was just waiting for it to actually happen. Turned herself into a fierce, gigantic, monstrous chimichanga. She attacked the men, but they stood strong. As time passed, the first man fell to... The flops. And the second man fell to the witches. You, behind rainbow hair. What was that?
Bees.
Fell to the bees. Not the bees.
Bees.
There only stood Grandpa.
Gilbert.
I'm just making sure you're paying attention.
Gilbert.
Grandpa Gilbert. But the witch, in her chimichanga form, bellowed to the man that he would be hopeless to defeat her, and that there was no point in fighting her. Grandpa Gilbert simply said that he did not need to defeat her. While she was distracted with the other two men, Gilbert had rescued the princess, awoken her from the spell using a magical...
Fart.
You would say a fart.
What?
Bubble wand.
Bubble wand.
Bubble wand. Say Princess Bubblegum with the bubble wand.
It works.
It makes sense. At least you guys are starting to make sense. I wrote this stuff with everything different in my head. Use the bubble wand to save Princess Bubblegum. The witch turned to see the princess standing tall, but the princess did not look distressed. She looked mad. She cracked her... Please somebody say knuckles.
I said no. I said no.
No, I want to hear what somebody else has to say. So. She cracked her teeth.
Ow. Ouch.
You need to go to the dentist. cocked her head to the side and said to the witch, "I'm gonna turn you into a steaming pile of, if anyone says what I think they're saying, you are gone."
Political promises.
Steaming pile of political promises.
Car rental.
Chimichangas.
I'm gonna turn you into a steaming pile of chicken pox. The princess ran up and began to attack the witch. The mighty punches and kicks, and continued to do so for a good, give me a number.
40 hours.
42.
42. Did I say hours? I said a number.
42. 42.
I said 42 first, so I'm
Yes.
going to go 42 minutes. I'm not crazy. This doesn't go on forever.
Wait, you're not?
But you were
She then climbed to the landing above, leapt off the high-rise, and roundhouse kicked the witch right in her. Again, if you say what I think you're going to
Chimichangas.
Beans.
Knee. Oh, okay. I'm thinking completely something different. Inner knees.
Beans.
Oh, well, that's totally appropriate. Oh, that's totally appropriate. Beans. All right then. Round out. Now, why do I picture Chuck Norris in a pink dress, roundhouse kicking someone in their beans? Surrounded by bears. This will be a story on Chuck. My next story, when I write, will be about Chuck Norris. How many of you would hear that?
Woo!
It'll just be about everything he's overcome over the years. Which is everything.
Everything.
The witch took the kick right to her beans and reverted back to her old woman self. She asked, how could you fight in such a manner? The princess said, Grandpa Gilbert, the village clown, was actually a combat expert and had been training her to fight for years by orders of her father.
King's name. We never had a king's name.
We had a king's name. Who remembers the king's name?
No, that was Grandpa.
No, it was
We
like.
had a queen. We didn't have a king. No, we never got a king.
All right, then give me a new name. Crowley.
Crowley.
Come on, go Crowley.
Car rentals.
Mozart.
All right, if you've already made a decision, lower your hand. And don't think I'm not paying attention. All right, pick somebody from these. Yeah, pick somebody from them.
First one looks like they're wearing Bates coat.
King Rufus had decreed that the village idiot shall train my daughter in expert combat.
Goku. Goku. Lay down a little bit.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, thank you.
Just, I'm still picturing Chuck Norris. Anybody else think Chuck Norris?
Yeah,
Who would want to see that in a video on YouTube?
I do.
I would.
Who says there isn't? Oh yeah, already. You look it up right now, Sarah.
Pay to see that.
I would if I had to.
I demand a fan fiction of this.
Yeah, okay, all right, let's finish this story.
Also,
Grandpa
writing a
Gilbert
fan fiction
did not
of
need
this.
to
We
fight.
actually don't need it.
He just needed to find her. He had just used the two men using their strength to get to the tower. Then with one mighty blow, punched the witch right in her face. The kingdom had its princess back. The evil witch had been defeated, and all was well once again. Now, at the end of these stories, I write a little moral, so just stay with me, all right?
Can
I'm
we
being
reread-
serious for once.
Can we reread through the whole story?
The moral of this story is, be prepared for the worst situations and never be afraid to ask for help. Also, princesses should know how to fight. It would save them from getting into a lot of trouble.
Save Mario a lot of trouble.
And that, my friends, is the end of the princess story.
Woo!
Now, given the first story, what did everyone think of that? I've lost a lot of people. But I'm not bluffing. Because I still have a lot of people. Quite frankly, as long as it's more than 20, I'm fine.
Well, in that case.
Car rental.
All right, you drop my number to 20. I will find out where you live.
Hey, it's a long drive.
What if he drops it to 21? 21?
That actually took a decent amount of time. Does anybody actually want to hear the second story?
Yes.
Easy there, Chris.
Great, because I thought I was done.
18 and over.
We're losing kids, we might be able to make this 18 plus.
All right, well, all right. Everyone give me a yoo-hoo if you're still a kid. All right, if you're under the age of 16, give me a yoo-hoo. All right, how many of you have your parents allow you to see and hear violent things? All right, parents of all these children, is it okay?
That's what you should ask from now on. How many of your parents allow you to watch Adult Swim?
I've seen a preschooler cuss out its teacher. I think we're pretty good.
All right, the next story is the cowboy. It's not as well written, so it should be easier to get through. Plus, I gotta say honestly, it's one of my better works.
I'm sorry.
I'm telling you, we're not turning this into Brokeback
From this
Mountain.
point on,
No.
the story is 18 plus.
So it's going to be Brokeback
Parents,
Mountain.
if you're not okay with this,
Make sure she
I
doesn't
have
raise
no
her hand.
control over what you
Make sure
do.
she doesn't raise her hand.
All right, so if everyone could move in a little closer.
Get close, get all buddy. We're all friends.
How you doing? You're going to have to buy me dinner first.
Now,
You said shaft or staff? Okay.
actually, you know what?
Goku.
All right, we're gonna everyone. We're gonna have you move over. Because I'm running out of. Let us begin. Everyone ready?
Yeah.
Do I have to do this all over again? Yes. Is everyone ready? I should have gone with the first answer.
And if your ideas suck, he's gonna go with mine.
Yes.
You suck,
No, dude, it's 18 plus. All answers are good. All right, here we go. The cowboy. Long time ago in the Western Territory of. Geez, Spider-Man, you get one answer. So you better make it good.
I'll save it.
Save it. There are some better parts coming. You gotta pick some. Hands up. Territory of.
We got one in the back.
No, you know what? I just got a really good one. Thank you. I appreciate that. In the territory of Equestria. Oh! There was a small town where hardworking men and women lived peacefully. Now, this town may have been small, but it was also the source of all the
Dead babies.
Yes.
What?
Lord Odin. Please smite all the sinners of the world. Because I'm telling you, when I'm done with this story, I'm going to be one of them.
If he did that, we'd
Still
already
won't
be
help your
dead.
We don't be
situation.
smited.
All of us here.
I just realized that later in the story, it's going to get so much better with that. All the dead babies in the equestrian territory. There lived a man named.
Oh, that one in the back just shot her.
Yeah, her hand went up first.
Betty White.
There lived a man named Betty White. If she hears this story, I get the feeling she is going to put me on her hit list. Who owned a farm of, I swear if someone says dead babies.
Dead chickens.
Don't you dare! Yes! And he cheated!
I like this guy.
Who owned a farm of eggs? He was the poorest man in the equestrian He was made fun of and laughed at and disrespected for his AIDS. But he didn't care. AIDS, farming AIDS was his life. And he wasn't going to let anyone tell him he couldn't do it. He loved his AIDS. His farm was several miles outside of town, so whenever he needed something, he never needed to deal with the constant harassment of the townsfolk. He did, however, have one benefit of living outside of town. Every 2 weeks, a train would arrive and drop off fresh food and products for the town. His home was right next to the tracks, meaning sorry about that, I'm starting to lose my voice. Meaning he would be the first one to know when new stuff would arrive in town. That's not what I'm pressing. Scroll down. There you go. One day, he was picking up blank for his AIDS. If someone says cream, I'm done. What was it?
A micro pig wearing rain boots.
Picking up a micro pig wearing rain boots for his AIDS. I'm so glad this only comes up once. I don't have to remember that. A rider came into town with a message. The man arrived by
The Winchesters.
the Winchesters.
Yeah.
He was yelling at the top of his lungs. He's coming! He's coming! That's not for something. This is why I try to avoid 18 plus, because I knew that was going to be me. I wrote that not planning on that. When the townsfolk finally got him, calmed down, they asked him what he was talking about. The man said that there was an evil bandit named Ron Jeremy.
Betty White, Ron Jeremy. Magic Mike.
And his crew of...
Alright, that's Magic
I saw that
Johnson.
hand first.
American pop culture icons.
This sounds like an episode of Futurama. Evil bandit named Ron. Ron Jeremy and his crew of American pop culture was on his way. He had hijacked a train, loaded it with
Rabbits.
I was waiting for that. Loaded it with dildos and was heading straight towards town. The townspeople began to panic. They knew they were in trouble. At the end of You see now, when I wrote this story, the train was supposed to be full of explosions, fireworks. There'll be fireworks, all right.
Ixodon. Say it.
At the end of the tracks was a warehouse where they stored all their dead babies in town. And that is how the story got better. There was no way they were going to be able to move it all in time. Betty White asked if there was anything he could do to help, but the townspeople just shrugged him off, saying that his form of AIDS would be no help at all. I realize again, the story's about to get only better.
Oh, shit.
All right, 1 second.
So the babies died from AIDS, right?
No, the town farms these, remember?
The babies died from the farmer's AIDS.
As he hopped on his horse, a brilliant idea occurred. He hopped onto... Wait, didn't I just say he hopped on his horse? As he began to get to his horse, he had a brilliant idea. Hopped on his horse and rode out of town as fast as he could to get back to his farm. Because the train would have to pass by his house before he got to town, he had a chance to stop it. As he got to the steps of his home, he could see the smoke of the train just a few miles out and knew he would have to work fast. He ran into it inside and grabbed his
Hexadone.
In case everyone didn't hear that, say that again.
Hexadone.
Please, for the love of Odin,
Say don't.
do not Google that. Grabbed his hexadong and began to work on the track. His plan was to derail the train by removing the track. But his hexadong could not be removed. He could not move that. He ran back into his home and began looking for tools. Anything he could use to remove the tracks. He had run out of ideas and began to scratch his head in all the panic. When suddenly, AIDS, he said to himself. He had come up with a plan and would lay his aides onto the track. They would stop the train for sure. Grabbing all of his aides, he ran to where his aides were, and he began moving them onto the track. He placed them one right after the other, only minutes before the train would pass. As he finished getting all of his aides in place, he got back onto his horse and rode back into town. Sorry, all these aides are coming back. Again, this was not an 18+ panel. It was supposed to be something else comes up and calms down. Shut up! When he got back to town, while the town was still in panic, attempting to move their entire stock of dead babies out of the warehouse. Betty White quickly climbed onto the rooftop and began to yell out what he had done. The townspeople looked at him with both emotions of...
Watch it.
Spider-Man threw his hand up. He's ready. What's
This is his
Arousal?
only one.
arousal? I can imagine why they would be. Yeah, second emotion. Riddler.
Carnal desires.
Arousal and primal desire. I was expecting hatred and disappointment.
What you get expecting?
They yelled out that he had been crazy for trying that. Soon after, someone bellowed out that they could see the train. On top of the train was Ron Jeremy and his men. The town began to get more worried as it approached. Then,
This makes more sense than the princess.
Betty White called out. I'm still dealing with the AIDS and the dead baby. Then, Betty White called out for everyone to look at the train again. This time, they looked at the front of the train and saw a pile of something being pushed by the train. It was all of Betty White's AIDS. The train was slowing down, and his men were on the train trying to get the AIDS out of the way with large...
Spiders.
No, we
Just say
What?
Do it! Do it! Do it!
Was it
Flashlights? Flesh!
Yes.
As in human flesh. And
Oh, no.
lights. As in not actually a flashlight.
Wait, you don't know what a flashlight is?
Flashlight.
Wait.
Oh, no. I know what it is. I'm wondering why he brought it up. Anyway, they were trying to get the AIDS out of the way using large flashlights. The train was still moving relatively fast as it
I just can't get the flesh out of my mouth.
It's okay. A lot of people have that same problem.
The train was still moving relatively fast as it entered town.
Don't swallow it.
Townsfolk began to run, but Betty White stood still on top of the warehouse as the train got closer. It was seconds away from impact. It jumped at the end of.
Right?
It jumped the end of the rails and began to slow. Only a few feet away, the town watched with fear as. See what? Do you mind? We're doing a panel. Do you mind? I'm telling a story here. Bedtime story.
It's about dead babies.
And hey, it's late at night and people are trying to sleep. They don't even hear us. Continue. I'm kind of hard to do that with these bedtime stories, don't you think?
Well, it is a little hard.
Stopped. The train stopped. The aides had done it. Using his stock of aides, go around. Seriously. He stopped the train from impacting the warehouse and saved the town. The sheriff and his deputies arrested Ron Jeremy and his men and took them